there, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Hey, had a lovely walk in the sunshine this morning. What a deal that was. Good day. It's a good day. So, yesterday, I went and had my first therapy back with the occupational therapist, and things are progressing. And the reason I bring that up is that I have been doing a lot of looping over the last 3 days straight. I've been way inspired. And I've been, doing select on the wine, waiting. Actually, it's part of the joy of doing this is I've been kind of reserving doing the video by sharing a glass of nectar as I do this. Isn't that nice? So, I want to tell a little story real quick about the experience as of yesterday, because when I had my very last appointment with the hand therapist, on that very day, was because the reason I stopped is because I realized I was going to need surgery, and to continue the therapy was kind of moot. It was kind of a waste. So I managed to be expedited into the surgical procedures and healing now. So back to that. The very day that I had my last appointment with her, which was January 23rd, was the very day that I quit eating cooked food. And so basically it's like 3 months ago. And that was the very same day I started my urine therapy, that very morning. Now, I never said anything to her about that. And we had in 3 visits, we had some pretty interesting conversations. So I thought she, open-minded, kind of thing, whatever, having a conversation. Well, I'm there for 45 minutes, face to face. So I mentioned to her that I'm doing the urine therapy, and her immediate reaction, was extremely, almost disgusting, derogatory, and judgmental and opinionated posturing. And I cut her to the quick on that one. I just said, hey, don't go there. What? Hey, I thought I was dealing with a big girl now, but apparently not. And so the reason I bring all this up is not to rag on that point. I want to illustrate a point. And that is that when you choose to do urine therapy, obviously you're not going to be with the general crowd, whoever that is, whatever the cool table is at the, high school cafeteria, I don't know, wherever these people are, wherever they sit. When you mention urine therapy, you're not going to be in a resounding hip, hip, hooray. That ain't going to happen. They're not going to throw a parade. I'm sorry. And I know all of this because I've been an outsider and a freak my whole life. So it's not new to me. I've been a part of the, oh, look at him. What a clown. What a fool. What a this, what a that. And I yeah, right, whatever. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for noticing me. Isn't that big of you? Poo-poo. So with this in mind, what I realize is that in that experience, I continued in my posture. I just made it clear that I wasn't about to be treated in some derogatory or disgusting, opinionated way. That wasn't going to happen. If you want to talk about any of this, then let's have an intelligent conversation. I thought, you were a, open-minded person kind of thing. So as the hour continued, it got a little better, a little softer, a little easier. But at one point, she's now doing like a lotion massage on my hand. And she goes, have you been, massaging your hand and with lotion? And she's there massaging my hand. And I said, well, yeah, I've been massaging my hand, but with urine. And she goes, just like that. She just pulls away and gets this whole posture and attitude. Like, and I said, look, right? I said, it's the most sterile thing on the planet. When then she's getting all like goofy on me about, well, I can't, I can't have that. I'm a, blah, blah, blah. And I went, yeah, okay, no worries. It's cool, like that. So the point I want to make about all this, why I'm bringing all this up, is that people are funny, as a general rule, and I'm not talking necessarily about the humans as much as the people, because people, are in bigger collectives. Humans you find one by one somehow. And, but people will rationalize anything, to basically validate whatever their belief, opinion, judgment, or whatever their point of view is about. And that's just to justify whatever decision they're making, whatever choice that they're making. So they'll posture these different mindsets and manipulations, quite frankly, and they're all for that control factor. Like superiority complexes come from this, and super A type, and bullies, and whatever. There's a lot of ways that you can describe certain behavioral characteristics that aren't favorable to the gentler folks on the general rule. So leave that as it may. But the thing is that people will do this. They'll just totally rationalize to validate, simply to justify with their every move, whatever they decide they want to do. And so we have to take all of this into account if we're going to really have our own growth, so to speak. And so I've gone through this, like I said, my whole life. I've always been a bit of an outsider. I mean, generally speaking, that's just been a protocol for me. So somehow I'm kind of adjusted to it. It's never any fun. Last thing I'll allow is people to just play me for some fool and throw some, ridiculous condescension or derogatory at me without responding with a posture of my own, and let them know that don't fly. Sorry. Zero out that one. So, and this is all love, because I recognize most people will only do these behaviors and these character maneuvers and these manipulations because of their own insecurity anyway. They ain't getting enough hugs. There's just not enough love there or something. And when you look at it and understand it, and this is true with any bully, any person that is totally narcissistic and totally self-absorbed and has to be the center of attention for everything. It turns every conversation back into themselves. And I know I'm capable of it. I've done it. So I know what I'm talking about. And again, it's all about control and manipulation. And so the more we're clear about it, we basically put aside the indifference to a certain degree. We can agree to disagree. I'm fine with that. Yeah, I'm not trying to sell anything to anybody at any time for any reason. Yeah, I don't need your vote. I'm not running for mayor. And I mean, I love to just go ahead and hug the ladies and kiss the babies and say peace and love and happiness to everyone. Hey, cheers, mate, because that's how I roll. That's exactly how I roll. And I'm perfectly comfortable with it. A lot of people might find it gruff, and like immediately interpret like, I've got my nerve, what kind of asshole am I? And it's like, I don't know, what are you looking at in the mirror? I'm not who you think I am. You are who you think I am. That's all there is to it. So what people try to shed on me and should on me and put all that, shit and scrapnel into the airspace, you have to be okay with, I'm here in the simplest term. I'm not willing to let anybody walk all over my aura with dirty feet. That's all. So, I'm okay with even washing feet. Hey man, Let's give you a urine rub on your feet. Let's see if we can get some reflexology and something going on there to chill you out. What do you think? And I think that's the whole cure, you see. So I have this confidence about the urine at this point. And I'm not turning back. I'm actually preparing myself at this point now I've done this successfully so far. I haven't had any cookies, or sweets like that for 2 weeks. I haven't had any crackers or any of that, or hummus or chips or dips or any of that for over a week. I am going to run out of my the last of my grain bread here, and my little avocados and a few bananas and oranges and dry fruits. I don't have much. I don't usually keep much around. That is my food stock. And then I'm targeting on Monday. That's kind of my goal right now, is I'm kind of shooting for Monday to start a fast. And with that fast, I intend to loop and do a lot of that, and also incorporate aged, or whatever, my wine, and doing that. So I'm preparing myself, and I'm making it kind of a declaration. So we'll see how that goes. But that is my intent. That's what I'm focused on. That is my goal. And I've attempted to do this before, and after a couple of days, I really, I fell short after 3 days, and I was okay with that. It was a learning curve, and so then I had to go back to a far stretch. That's why I was eating the cookies and stuff like that. It was like I just like ricocheted into the salt and sugar addiction thing, just like that. And I recognize that it's all addiction, no matter what. Our habits, everything we do, say, be, and have, it's all addictive. And the more we've been engineered into capitalistic or consumeristic and materialistic main mindsets and operatives, that gets a little busy. It gets a little crowded in there. And so the more we can clear all of these levels, physical, emotional, mental, all the levels, spiritual, just get into it. Go in and do some house cleaning. That's why the urine therapy is the deal. It's the real deal. Really, it is. It's a cool thing. And people that are doing it know this. So I know that people because I get a lot of response. I want to thank you for that. Anybody who's listening to these, I hope you join in to the conversation, because, it's awesome. And this conversation, to me, is new. I'm only in this right now, 3 months in, basically. I'm, as of today, it was 3 months ago, basically, that I started urine therapy, and I am so jazzed. I've never felt better. I really am. I'm just like, hoo-hoo, look at us go now. And I'm totally, perfectly willing to be a bit of a, spokesman, so to speak, more on a level of enthusiasm and testimonial levels, because I'm not a scientist, and I can answer questions experientially, but I'm no doctor, I'm no scientist, and I make no claims, except that it's working awesome. And I am really enthusiastic about it. So I intend to share that willfully, openly, honestly, to anybody, always. And it's not an imposition. It's not like I'm intruding. I bring it up in a conversation. Somebody wants to hear about it, this, that, and the other. Great. Let's talk about this, because I think it's valuable. I think it's curious and interesting. When I first heard about it, I went, wow, I want to learn more about that. I didn't go, oh, God, that's just weird and disgusting. I just thought, wow, isn't that curious? You're doing what? I thought, what are you doing? And so as I looked into it after 2 days, I went, I can't find anything wrong with this. To me, this sounds reasonable. What do I have to get past except the idea that I'm drinking my piss? And yeah, I have to say that takes some doing, because there's so much conditioning. That's not an easy step for most people. And I agree. It wasn't the easiest step. I'm getting used to it now. I'm looping. I'm just doing this, and I totally get it now. I have to give it up for Monica Chunga for all of her support and love, and her inspirational writings and her videos. I mean, she is truly, something I just find extremely motivating, because of her charm and her enthusiasm, her wisdom and her experience and her brilliant writing. And it just comes from her heart with so much love. And for me, I'm just like, yeah, let's go, let's do this, And so, the point of any of this message, if there is one, is that people have to just be bold about it. It's like standing up. If you're gay, or everybody's life matters at some level or another. What banner are you under? And I mean, I went through all of these isolations, and I've gone through those mindsets, and I know how it feels. Even in the simplest things, when I went vegan and quit drinking, and all the social graces that I found before that were easy and comfortable and conditional and habitual, they were a little bit to walk away from. But I realized that the more that I loved myself and honored myself and respected myself, the better everything got. And I realized that those things weren't respecting myself at all. I wasn't respecting myself at all. So drinking my pee, hey, I've learned that this is making love to yourself. Quite honestly, this is the truest form of getting to know you that you can do. You can't get any closer to getting to know yourself than take the piss. Really, do it. Piss is bliss. It is. It's a totally worthy thing to understand, and go ahead and just do it. Just do it. And that's the only thing you can do. You can think about it, all you want, but it's just like any other healthy choice. People resist it all the time. People don't want to give up their meat. They don't want to give up their cooked food. They don't want to give up their sodas or their beers or their wines or the vodkas. They don't want to give up shit. I understand. I didn't want to give up. My first introduction to just being a vegan, raw vegan, was all the way back in 2000 in Sedona. And I was invited to this party. Little did I know it was a vegan potluck. I did not know. We were invited kind of because we were entertaining at a prior party. And they said, oh, you got to come to our potluck. And I said, great. And I show up there, and I got a sausage soup. And this is a raw vegan little soiree. And I won't mention names. I knew some people there, but there's one fellow, great guy, great musician. He says, "Wow, you've got your nerve." And I turned to him and I said, "Hey, if somebody had told me that I was coming to a raw vegan soiree like this, I would have either chose a different item to bring, or I may not have come at all." Because at that point, I was a little more committed to my, carnivore mindset. And I was a professional chef, so I had a lot of blood on my hands. When I went vegan, it was really an ethical decision. I decided, because of what was happening in my mindset, I'd change my mind. And that's, if anything, how do you do this? How do you do that? Where do you get your protein? Don't you miss pork? What's the problem? And I go, the problem is you are addicted. And once you absolutely understand that you're addicted, then you can make decisions to change from that. You develop new ideas, new habits. But you got to change your mind. This is important. If you don't change your mind, it's pretty hard to change your habits. But it's worth it. Truly is worth it. So it's all about respect. It's all about protect. If you protect yourself and respect yourself and love yourself, and these are ways to do this. It truly is. It's the easiest way. I mean, at this point, and I told this to my therapist yesterday before it was all said and done. I said, you know what? I tell you honestly, what I've learned about urine therapy, I consider the most important thing I've learned so far in my life. And that's the truth. It is the truth. I am so convinced about the healing properties and the qualities, but even more so, more than that, is about how much you integrate the love experience. It becomes a part of your whole transformational embodiment. And that's why I'm aiming to be doing the breatharian and the urinary. And I'm aiming at that. I want to start the process again, starting, I don't know how many days. I haven't decided how many days, but I'm going to start fasting and then take it from there. And I'm going to I'm going to loop. So I'm going to continually drink, drink all the pee that I produce during that fast. And when I make my videos, if I have a nice, fresh wine, then I'm going to add, it'll be the only thing. I'm not going to do distilled water, drink tea, or anything. I'm just going to do urine and breathe and see how I do. But see, here's the thing. I tried it before, and after 3 days, that was it. But I wasn't ready yet fully. And I don't know if I'm ready yet now, quite honestly. But what I do know is I'm intent and I'm willing and I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to have some fun. And taking care of your body and feeling good and healthy and having energy and creative mindset and feeling like, passionate about your art and whatever you're doing and how much you are like enjoying your life, that's a healthy sign. That's a good sign. If you're dreaming a lot, if you're, walking with a bright step, whether you're physically enabled or not, it's in your heart. It's all about what's going on in your heart. If you feel good about yourself, it's going to show. If you're happy and it's going to show. Just let it be, let it glow, let it show. Be all that you can be, because you know what? It's lovely. People love loveliness. Even when they don't, they do. They really do. The ones that don't, they just haven't had enough love. They just don't know what to do with it. They just don't know what to do with love. And that's kind of, I have a lot of empathy. I do. And so when I look at all that meanness that people portray, I look at it as like, just a symptom of whatever abuse that they've faced in their life. And if we react or respond in any certain manner that allows that behavior to be and to promote that behavior more so, well, we found a perfect mirror. And we still have issues to work out. If you're one of those people that get pissed off easy, you might want to look at that. I'm not from, England or wherever that term they use, oh, we got really pissed last night, and you say that in America, it means something completely different, but now I'm looking at it, hey, let's get pissed, let's do this. Bliss. It is. Piss is bliss. So I want to just say, have a beautiful, wonderful, marvelous day. It is a beautiful day to be alive. And the more you can dig it, the groovier it gets. Life can be really groovy, man. I'm telling you. You may think I'm crazy. A lot of people do. And I'm sure I am. So, big surprise. So, peace, love, and happiness, and boom, 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 boom. Hey, you just been loved. Dig it. Bye-bye.